Good evening. Welcome to the DigiSeminar of the Filipinske Hjelpesamfund i Norge, FHS, in collaboration with Oslo Crisis Center and Florencia, a volunteer and the Program Secretary for Multicultural Links Integration Program from FHS Team Newbie, Norway. And together with me is also a volunteer of FHS, Regine. For everyone's information, FHS is an NGO which provides the information drive and awareness to benefit and help the migrant groups in Norway, gathering necessary information they need. Today, we are going to have a very special guest who will join us shortly. She's a representative of Oslo Crisis Center, and she will be presenting the crucial information regarding violence in relationships.
Information may or may not apply to your situation. Discretion is necessary.
Under no circumstances will our organization be held responsible nor liable in any way for any claims or liabilities resulting or arising directly or indirectly from your use of the information we are about to present. So get your pen and paper ready so you can write down all the information that you might need. We, together with Oslo Crisis Center, will answer your inquiries and questions at the end of the presentation. So if you have any questions, just write it in the comment section and let's open the floor.
Thank you, Floria, for the very warm welcome and introduction. Hello to all our viewers, and welcome to our live event on violence in close relationships. The aim of this DigiSeminar is to get to know some of the most important information, to become aware of the current situation, and how to prevent violence in close relationships. So, for those of you who are watching right now, kindly let us know which city or country you come from in the comment section below, and let's make it interactive. I know most of you are waiting for this event because the topic is very relevant. Joining us this evening is one of the representatives from Oslo Crisis Center, and she will be walking us through more about our topic for today. Please welcome from Oslo Crisis Center. Let us give the floor to Christine Berntsen to introduce the organization and tell us more about their services.
Welcome to our DigiSeminar, Christine Bersten. She's a social worker who worked for over 20 years in the field of violence in various roles. How are you, Christine?
Thank you so much for inviting me, and I'm very happy to be here today to share my information with you. It's very useful for us also to reach out.
That's very nice, Christine. We're also very happy to have you here with us. So, without further ado, we would like to give you the time to give us more information on violence in close relationships.
This is the last page, yes. Okay. Thank you. Now I will start. In Norway, we had in 2010 a new law. It's called the Crisis Center Act of Norway. And I think Norway is the only country in the world, actually, who's got a crisis center law. Many countries, they have crisis centers, but Norway has an own law to regulate what a crisis centers should offer. And what happened in 2010 was also that men exposed to domestic violence should also have get offered help from Crisis Center. That was a very new, and it was a big debate about it because Crisis Center has always been for women exposed to domestic violence. But in 2010, everything's changed. So now there is a crisis center in all municipalities for women and men and their children exposed to violence in the family or violence in a close relation. And the shelter service, the place that offers a safe place to stay temporary, is not cool. It's not in the same building. It's not in the same institution. So we have one center for women and another center for men. Just to say that because of security reasons. Anyway, this act is just our framework. It's not so interesting for you. So we can go further on to the next slide. Yes. Violence in Norway. I would just want to give you a short glimpse of how Norway looks like, because most people out there and also in Norway, we think that Norway is a very good country, and it is, and some of us think it's the best country to live in, and many people and asking why is there domestic violence in Norway, because in Norway you have the welfare state, you don't have any wars, there's democracy, there is equalness between men and women. Still, this survey from 2014 shows us that 1 out of 10 women are exposed to severe violence in the family or in a relationship. And the survey also shows us that 2% of men are exposed to severe violence. So this tells us that violence against women is still a big issue. Domestic violence is an issue for women, but there are also men who are exposed to it. 5% of children in Norway are exposed to severe violence by the parents. That's a lot. And with severe violence, this is severe violence. It's not collapsing or slightly controlling. This is severe violence. 10% of the population of women, they are sexually abused, and 50% are under the age of 18. And sad to say, but we probably all know this, if you are exposed to violence or sexual abuse when you are a child, the chance of getting exposed to violence and sexual abuse is so much higher at risk when you are an adult. So this is, if we can prevent this in the childhood, we will prevent it from being a society problem. 1 out of 3 women that never told anyone about the abuse or about the violence. And there are approximately 10 women are getting killed, murdered every year in Norway by their husband or their ex-husband or other family members. These numbers are from 2014, so they are pretty old, but they are making a new survey now these days, and the numbers will look probably the same or maybe a little more. Violence in close relations in Norway is a society problem, and it's a problem like all over the world, and we are part of it. So to fight it or to prevent it is very, very important. You can change the slide now. Yeah. I need to talk a little bit about domestic violence. Because what does it mean? Domestic violence or violence in close relations, it means that the violence happens inside a family. It can be a family or another sort of family system. The abuser is usually his or her former or present spouse. It can be a child, grown-up child also. It can be parents. It can be sibling, other family members. It can be extended families. Partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, ex. It's important for us to understand that this violence is different from violence committed by a stranger. You know, when you get attacked in the park, or a burglar, or you get knocked down in a taxi queue. This is, of course, very difficult and can be very dangerous, but it's very, very different from domestic violence or violence in close relations, because violence in a close relation means that this person who is doing this to you is also a person you love, you have a long history with, you are of same family, so it's difficult in another way. It's not only to walk away from it, or from him, or from her. It's another dynamic. In Oslo Crisis Center, we have courses about this. So this is this I'm telling you now is briefly, very, very short introduction to what violence can look like. We all know and understand violence as something physical. And violence can be physical, obviously. It can be mild. You know, that physical violence that doesn't really harm you. You don't need to go to the doctor for it. You don't get marks, but it can still be very humiliating. You know, slapping, holding back. And the physical violence can be very, very rough. You can die from it. You can be seriously injured. You might go to legevakt. And the physical violence in close relationship is usually in the middle. It's a little rough sometimes. It can be very, very dangerous. One time, it's mild slapping around quite often. So it's in that scale. It's easy to understand because it's physical use of power. It's not easy to tell anyone, but you can understand it. It's more difficult with the psychological violence, because psychological violence is kind of a power thing. Who has the power in the relation? Who has got the power in the family? But psychological violence is, of course, use of psychological power to pressure you to do something you don't want to, or to prevent you from doing something you want. It can be threats, it can be control, it can be harassment, it can be bad words, it can be kind of pressure, stalking, humiliation, all kind of negative things, but in a pattern. Things that this psychological violence, it is not violence before it is kind of a pattern, something that is a signal of the relation or the family. Sexual violence is, of course, rape, but it can be a lot of other things. If we understand sexual violence and together with psychological violence, it means that you can be pushed or pressured to sexual activities which you don't really want, but you don't dare to say no. It can be sexual humiliation, sexual harassment. It is difficult with the sexual violence or the sexual humiliation because it's very, very hard to talk about. It's very shameful. It's a taboo still. But in a relationship which is violent, of course, the sexual life will be affected somehow. It's easier to talk about material or economical violence. We experience in Oslo Crisis Center that a lot of women, they are saying that he is very, very violent towards things. He smashes things, and that's better than he doesn't beat me or he doesn't beat the children. And somehow that is right. But anyway, material violence can be very scary because it means smashing things, breaking a door, smash the wall and it gets a hole in it. It can be very dramatic, and it can also be like destroying things to hurt you. You know, that family picture, burn, destroying your nicest dress, things that hurts but doesn't have any value, except for the intention of hurting your feelings. And economical violence is kind of to abuse you economically. It's a lot of it. You know, if your partner is taking up a loan without you, or you don't even know it. It's very easy nowadays to buy things online, on internet, buy mobile phones, other stuff, and the point is that you are responsible for the debt, and maybe you didn't even know about it. And it's a hard job to prove to the bank, for an instance, that this loan is not yours. It's your partner's, it's your husband's, but he forced you to sign some papers or did it behind your back. It doesn't work like that. So we experience that many women and also men, they are sitting with, they have to pay a lot of debt, which is not theirs. Latent violence is the next sort of violence on my list. And latent violence is violence which is always there. You know, in a family, you have, there are some physical violence towards the mother, and there are some psychological violence, threats, control towards the kids. The members in that family, they are waiting for new violence all the time, or they are just having a deep breath because it just happened, so they are kind of released. What I'm trying to say that this violence, when it comes into pattern, is that it's like a circle, and the violence are always there even if nothing is happening, because the family members are so afraid for the new violence, and they adjust and they try to do everything they can in different ways to make it quiet and stable in that home. And it's very distressful and a very bad way to grow up in that kind of environment. The violence is there, it's latent. Even if you, as a stranger, come into that family and you don't see anything and you don't sense anything and you don't feel anything, the members, they do. And honor-related violence, it includes forced marriages, negative social control. In Norway, we have a lot of honor-related violence in specific migrants' families, and also in Norwegian religious societies, where especially the children and then the youngsters are really controlled, and their behavior are really followed up. In Oslo Crisis Center, we also meet victims of human trafficking, and we see that as a sort of domestic violence also. It can be human trafficking into prostitution. That's what we meet, but it can also be like labor or drugs. It's a kind of violence which is really growing, also in our society and all the world, really. You can change, yes. Now, will say something quite short. I see that time is running, about Oslo Crisis Center. This is the most important slide anyway, because this is what kind of help you can get if you are in a relationship or in a family which is violent. Especially we think about psychological violence, because that's the sort of violence which is so difficult to understand. And then because people don't understand it, you don't get any help for it. Oslo Crisis Center, we have a hotline 24 hours. So anytime you can call us and talk with us. We do counseling. You can make an appointment, very easy, and come to us for counseling in our offices. We have a few offices in central of Oslo. People in violent families or people who have experienced violence in the close relations, they maybe want to talk about the violence, but what they most need is to know about their alternatives, their rights, the possibilities. So many people with problems, they don't call it violence, they call it problems. They have problems in the relationship, and they don't really know what to do, or maybe they want to do something, but they need to know their alternatives. So the most important thing we do is to give information about possibilities, rights, alternatives. What can you do if you want to do something? And we assist to contact the support system. We know about all sorts of systems out there, so we can establish contact. And very often that will be NAV, actually. I think NAV is our partner somehow. People always need economical help or economical sort of frames. And it's always a very important issue if you are thinking about leaving your boyfriend, for example, or your husband. Legal aid. We do give all our clients the possibility to talk to a lawyer without any cost, which is very popular and it's very needed. The legal aid we do can give you some answers, because one thing is the violence, but usually the violence, if you are subjected to violence in a family, it will involve the children. What will happen with the children if I leave him? If you have a staying permit, which is not, I have to say it. It's a loose one. Your staying permit is dependent on his permit, for an instance. It's not as secure. You are not sure if you can keep on living in Norway if you don't stay with him, etc., etc. So we do a lot of legal aid on staying permits and what sort of alternatives you have there. We give safe and free temporary housing. That means the shelter service. And we do follow-ups in the re-establish phase for people who have lived in the shelter, network, conversations, and a lot of practical help. And we have seminars, courses about violence. Okay, last slide. Yeah. This is important. We do all sorts of different services, as you can see. We do all sorts of different counseling, and you can come to us for counseling for 1 hour, one lesson, and you can come back the week after, or you don't come back at all. It's up to you. It's important that you know that we have the act of confidentiality. That means that everything you tell us, or you tell me if I'm your counselor, I'm not allowed to do anything about your situation or about your case unless you want me to and ask me to do it. So this act of confidentiality is very, very, very restricted. So coming to us for counseling, that does not mean that we are allowed to involve the police or NAV or anyone. We cannot do that. We are open 24 hours all year round. We are free of charge. All our services are free of charge. And no need for a referral. That means that you can call us yourself. You don't need the doctor or NAV or anyone else to do it, to make an appointment, and it's easy to get an appointment with us. It's not long waiting lists, and we also have drop-in concept. People who have been using our office before, sometimes they are in a crisis and they just ring the door and they drop by. women and men are not same located, and we use, of course, professional interpreters if that is necessary. And this is our telephone number, the 24 hours one. Okay, I think I spent half an hour. I hope I hope you understood what I said. So
We understood clearly. So there we have it. Thank you, Christine, for that very thorough discussion on violence in close relationships. I think at this point we will open the floor for maybe questions that our viewers have. Regine, do we have any questions or comments from our viewers?
Yes, Floria, we do have some questions from our viewers. One of the most frequently asked questions is, what can the Crisis Center help with?
Okay, we can give you a temporary place to stay if you are in need of protection. But we can most of all give you advice. We can guide you through the helping system. We can map out together with you what is it that you are in need of, and then we will try to get it together with you.
Thank you, Christine. Another most frequently question is the shelter a place for me? I haven't been beaten.
Yes, it's definitely a place for you. People think that violence is physical, but usually, and the most serious one is psychological violence. So it's no need for any beating.
Understood. Another frequently asked question is, what about work, school life, what I'm at the shelter?
I don't see the question here, but when you are in the if you stay in the shelter temporary, it's very good that you keep on with your job or your school or kindergarten or whatever, and it's only for those with security issues. And that's not very, very often, because then we cooperate with security measures and stuff. So the crisis center is not like a prison. You are staying there, getting help while you are doing your life.
Thank you, Christine, for that. Oh, another one. How long does one usually stay at the shelter?
It depends. Some families, they are there for like 1 to 3 months if they need to find a new apartment. There's lots of practical stuff also. So to move from an abuser and establish yourself, that can take some time if you have children and where to live. But other people use us very short. You can come there in the evening because you want to leave your spouse, but then you decide that it was wrong. You want to give it another chance, and you go back the day after. So it's really up to you and your needs.
Excellent. Thanks for clarifying. Another frequently asked question is, what about the time after I move out? Can I possibly return?
Yeah. We have clients, if we should call them that, who have been to the shelter like 2 times, 3 times, 5 times, 7 times. To leave an abusive relationship can take time. It can be a process. We welcome you back. And people who are coming for counseling, they are doing it. They are coming back and back and back if they are in need. So again, it's up to what you need.
Excellent. Thanks for clarifying again. Another frequently asked question is, can I stay at the crisis center when I'm under 18? Is I'm staying subjected to violence from, for example, my boyfriend or family members?
No. You have to be 18. If you're under 18 and you come together with your mother or your father, of course, but we are not in charge. Then it has to be barnevern. But you can
Thank you.
come and have conversations with us. You can come and we can guide you and help you, but you cannot stay with us if you are under 18.
Thank you for that answer, Christine. I think we have one last question here. Do I need to stay at the shelter to get help?
That's the question I really like to get, because it is not like that. And so many people out there in Oslo believe that you need to stay with us to get help. And most of the people that we are in contact with, they never stay with us. They come for counseling. They come because they need to get a free lawyer. Which is fine. So we have like one institution for one, yeah, institution shelter for people who stay, families or people without kids. They're staying for a shorter or longer term. And then we have another center which is much larger for all sort of counseling and groups and drop-ins. So no, you don't need to stay with us to get help. And you can come to us for one counseling. You can come and see what we are, or hear about what we can offer, and then you can say goodbye if it's nothing for you. So it's very, what I'm trying to say is easy to come and easy to go.
Perfect. 100% understood. And we have a comment coming from Facebook. And this is Mitch, who says, this is very important information that everybody needs to know. Thank you, FHS and Oslo Crisis Center, for this. So, Christine, do you want to invite our viewers to how they can reach you?
How they can reach me? The telephone number.
Perfect.
In the last slide.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I wanted to say, to sum up, that as you have mentioned before, most of the females who are subjected to violence are not talking about it. And this is one of the main reasons we are having this DigiSeminar today. So we are really grateful for the time that you have spent with us, and thank you for answering all our questions today.
Thank you. And I want to add. I want to say that it's difficult to talk about, and it's very taboo. But in Oslo, I think also Oslo Crisis Center, we are in contact with like 3,000 roughly persons every year. Some they are doing counseling, some are staying with us, etc., etc. 3,000, and if we think about in the 10 years, yeah, there are so many thousands. And then if we think about the children, the families, there are so many. There are so many. So I really want people out there to contact us. And I'm sure for almost everyone it will be useful, even if you don't choose to do something about it. It can be very useful, because we have some information that can be useful to you. And it can be very okay to talk to someone about your situation, and at least get some support.
Thank you very much, Christine. It's also good to know that we can always get help here in
Yeah.
Oslo, no matter who we are or where we come from. And you said it's 24 hours, it's open, and it's the best thing. It's for free. So I think it's we can you are easily reached. So that's very nice. Yeah. So thank you, Christine, for your time. It's an honor to collaborate with you in this program. And we hope to see you again and have you again on our future projects.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Once again, thank you so much, Christine. To reiterate, we are the FHS not the members of Oslo Crisis Center. This program is part of the integration and voluntary activities of our organization. Our purpose is primarily aimed at Filipinos and other minority groups living in Norway and Filipinos in the Philippines. This DigiSeminar is a part of the activities carried by Team Newbie Norway. The subgroup in charge this month is called Multicultural Links. We're a group of motivated and positive individuals from all over the world, like Argentina, Peru, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka, to name a few, who work together to facilitate the integration of the minorities in Norway. For those who missed this live program, don't worry, you can replay it on our official Facebook page at fhs.org.no and watch it on our YouTube channel, the Filipino Helping Society Norway. Visit our website as well, www.fhsnorge.org, for more updates, other information drives, and to know more about our organization. We also want to promote the Team Newbie Norway activities and programs, Sproke Cafe, our monthly Digis seminar, tips to newbies in Norway, and many more. A kind reminder that we meet in person to our physical Sproke Cafe in FHS office Oslo every Saturday from midday to 4 p.m. Please check our Facebook events for more details. We warmly welcome our new set of volunteers.
And if you're passionate to help and want to utilize your skills, competence, and talents in serving others, please be one of us and be part of our community. You can register as a member and volunteer for free through our website. There are several benefits of all FHS members and volunteers. Again, visit our website, fhsnorge.org. On behalf of the Filipinske Hjelpesamfunn i Norge, FHS, I would like to first thank the great people who put a lot of effort in preparing this program, the FHS Newbie in Norway team, Sally for technical, Mitch for the script, and the project leader, and my co-host, Regine. I would like to thank all for watching the program and making it as productive as possible. Lastly, to Christine Mersten of Oslo Crisis Center, thank you so much for your time. Again, this has been Florencia.
And this is Regine, wishing everyone a safe, calm, and cozy Thursday evening.
Have a nice evening, everybody.